Hey, yo, audience, welcome back to another episode of Recap and Record. I am your host, Los, right? And I'm here with my co-host, Levi. And this is your favorite actor's favorite recap podcast. I mean, like that's what we're gonna go with, right? I mean, your favorite actor's favorite recap podcast.
Gotta be it. That's gotta be it.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's. I mean, we're still working on the moniker, but yeah, man. We episode 6.
Yes, sir.
And we're back, man. We are back. Another week, man. Just giving y'all this good content, man. You know, you gotta follow us on all the socials. Follow us on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, and then we're on all audio platforms, man. Like we're cooking, man. We putting out a lot of content. You know, the Instagram's growing a little bit. Everything is growing a little bit.
Yes,
you know
sir.
what I'm saying?
Yep.
And we're working, man. And so today, man, we got a dope recap of episode 6, and this was basically like a second pilot, man.
I think a second pilot sounds right. I think it sounds right. I think we get all of our new actors, right? And I think we're kind of reintroduced to them. And what we have to go into this episode thinking is, as I was watching it and reading over your notes and some things and behind the scenes on YouTube, we have to remember that even in this podcast episode, like, it's been 10 years. So the events that have happened in this episode, I think we can most likely assume that those events have been happening for those 10 years. Like, so where we're at now is where we have been, and it's only gotten worse up until this point. And as we will obviously discuss later in the episode, basically people have reached their limit, and now things are going to start unfold. So I would say, yeah, I think honestly, I didn't think about it like that until you just mentioned it. And I think, I would say, yeah, I like that as a second pilot. I like that thought.
We met like a million new characters. Like this, this like everybody got kids. There's a million kids out there.
Yep.
All type of Targaryens and bastards.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, a bunch of Targaryens, bunch of Valerians, bunch of illegitimates out there, man. And you know, we're moving, man. So you know, I mean, have a baby by me, baby. Be a Targaryen. No, I'm just saying. But so we start off the episode, man, and Rhaenyra is giving childbirth, man.
Yep.
And it looks reminiscent
to call back to her mother.
mom.
Yep. Episode 1.
To episode 1. I mean, it looks reminiscent to that. It's looking like, you know, it's just, you know, but hers is going smooth. I mean, hers is going smooth. She has the baby, and then right after the baby, she has this baby. Obviously, it's a boy.
Yep.
And the queen flexes on. She flexes on Rhaenyra. You know what I mean? She's like, bring that baby over here.
Right. The queen, and as we see in the scene, she's getting fitted for yet another new green dress. And she's like, I can't really be bothered. And I know she just had the baby 20 minutes ago, but bring her to me. I want to see the baby and just confirm my third and final suspicion before I go bother the king again. And dude, I mean, in that scene, a lot is happening here, right? A lot is happening.
Yes.
We see her husband, we see Laenor bust in, and oh boy, I heard it's great news, blah blah blah. Where are you going? And then of course he just does everything. I'm sure you and her were this way, and I know I was, but like, was it terribly painful for you? Was it the best experience of your life? Like, he's being every man,
dumbass questions.
Every man, right.
Yeah. Like, of course it was horrible, bro. Like,
so, and I mean, like, and then you look back and like her fucking afterbirth and blood is just trailing behind her on the floor. Like, she didn't even have time to do her shit yet. Like, she's still in the middle of labor going to see the queen. Like, bitch, dude.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like I don't know. I would have flexed back a little bit. Like, obviously she has to, you know, do what the queen says. But like, you're gonna be on my time. I don't care. Like, all right, sure, I'll walk to. And they actually just wanted the baby. But I was worried because we don't see these other kids yet. But like, you know, I talked to somebody. They was like, like they was worried that maybe she was gonna do something to that baby. And I felt Rhaenyra like I'm gonna go. I'm gonna take the baby up there, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But she was gangster with it, like you know what I'm saying? She, you know, she did the afterbirth joint while she's walking, she's just trailing, she's just snail trailing all across the fucking castle, bro. It was so gross. It was like, I was like, and Laena's like, nah, man, you know, let's go back. And she's like, nah.
And then motherfucking Criston Cole, and then he's just standing there like, get the fuck out of the way.
Whoa,
like, Homeboy's spicy. So Homeboy has a new role, right? He's now Alicent's like personal knight, Queen's bitch. Right. Yep. And I mean, dude, he's just like, he's still salty, A. He knows what's up, B. And he's still, I mean, even that scene, dude, even the scene with him and Alicent walking in the hall, like, Queen Rhaenyra is a fucking spider cunt that fucking blah, 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 would suck anything out of the blah. And like, bro, you're still mad. 10 years later, bro's still mad.
He's big mad.
He got friend zone, he's big mad, but.
Yeah. So, you know what I mean? You know, the queen flexes and she makes a little comment to Laenor. She's like, oh, keep trying and maybe you'll get one that looks like you, whatever.
Right. Wow.
And I'm like, wow, like what a low blow. But here's the thing though. All right. So we obviously know that Laenor, you know, he goes a different way. You know what I'm saying? He's not really into Rhaenyra, but that does not mean you don't have bait. Like you can force, you know what I mean? Like sometimes you got to suck it up and do what you got to do, man. You got to be a team player. And why wouldn't you impregnate your wife? Like that's just weird.
Yeah, that confused me too.
That confused me, bro.
Because here's the thing. And this is another reason why Alicent is just flexing the way she is. A, because she can, and B, because she's pissed. Because Alicent's playing the game. She's laying there getting fucked by now a one-armed man, like miserable the entire time. And it's like, but you know, she's producing all these sons and these babies, and she has another one that we didn't see in this episode, but we will probably next week. So the daughter, the daughter,
we do see the daughter though.
Oh, right? Was she? I think.
Yeah. She was like, and I think she's a little off. I think she's like, she might be on the spectrum or something, bro.
Maybe.
She was like spacey, bro.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Oh, yeah, that's right. We do see her with the bugs. The bugs. Yep. Yes. Yes. Okay, that's right. We'll get to that then. But yeah, so like I think she's pissed because Rhaenyra is out here doing whatever she wants. She's married, but she doesn't have to endure the dull, boring, we need to get you pregnant sex. She's out here sneaking in her back little corridors that lead directly to Criston Cole's room. Wonder who set that up. And, banging on the low. And so, or not Criston Cole, I'm sorry. Strong. Harwin Strong. My apologies.
All right. Yeah. And all right. So real quick. So since you brought his name up, I don't know, man. See, this is where I do have I love the episode, but this is a critique on House of the Dragon. Like, all right, I know you got to do these time jumps, whatever, but like, you're not even doing a good job of developing relationships and characters right now because all right, he picked the only interaction that we see really for like true interaction was him picking her up when she was on the ground.
Yep.
Like they didn't even like look at it. Like it wasn't even no romantic moment, or did I miss something?
So two things. One, we saw one other instance with Rhaenyra and him when he saw her for in the Daemon hallway.
Yeah.
So when she ran into him when Daemon and her were caught kissing in the hallway in episode 3, I believe, and then when he took her obviously out of the wedding, right, like you said.
Yeah, so, but come on, man.
So here's what happens in the books, in the story, in the 10 years that we jumped and that we missed. She still after one night she still tried to pursue Criston Cole in those years because she didn't know that he flipped and is on Alicent's team and all this shit, so she still tried to pursue him, and obviously he denied her, as we can see in this episode. And so after one night of denial, she ran into Strong, and then one thing led to another, and that's how their relationship developed. It was after a Criston Cole denial, and then obviously we know how Rhaenyra gets when she's denied sex from the first boy of the night. She goes to the next best thing, and that's just her MO, and then which one thing led to another, and now she has 3 babies.
Yeah. So, but the thing is though, even when he did have the run in with her, like in episode 3, whatever, it didn't seem like he fucked with her like that. You know what I'm saying?
No,
And it just seemed like
the
he was just doing a
show
duty.
the show
He,
kind of skipped over all of
yeah,
that.
and I'm like, all right, if she's gonna have 3 kids to a man, and you know what I mean, we see
We
his
need something,
demise,
right?
like you got to give us a little something. Like
Something,
you don't got to hold my hand
right?
throughout, I mean, all this whatever, because even to be honest, even the strong house of strong, like we don't even get that developed fully, like
Right.
because you knew Larry Strong, but
Right.
I never knew Lyonel's last name was Strong. I didn't know that was his dad. Like, unless, did I miss that?
No,
And or that him and Harwin are even like, I saw them talking, but they didn't indicate that they were brothers.
yeah, I think we were. It's tough in the series when, especially when I watch it, because like during like the wedding scene and the tournament and the, like even the jousting, and every time they introduce us to these characters, it's in like 10 seconds, and if you don't catch the names and you don't catch it, like it's almost missed until we see moments like in these episodes, and that's my, I guess, since we're griping with, that's my gripe with the show, and it just might be how my brain works. It might just be my fault, but
yeah, like it's easy to pick it up after the fact, but it's like, wait up, because then it makes you think like, wait up, did I miss? What did I miss? Because I've been I'm close watching this show.
When did he become? I guess we're also supposed to assume, again with the 10-year time jump, in that time he became hand to the king.
Well, no, he's been handed the king.
Has he been?
He replaced Otto. Remember when Otto goes out,
and that was that's right. That was
yeah. So that I knew that, but at the same time, and then it wasn't until
still didn't know they were related.
And we're skipping ahead, but it wasn't until he talks to Harwin like, yo, you're making our house look, and I was like, wait up, y'all related? I didn't know y'all was related. I mean, and then you start putting two together, but. Yeah. We'll get there.
Yep.
So all right. So let's move on, man. So now, this episode was dope because we're seeing these kids like being raised. Finally, you know what I mean? Like we're seeing like the development of these new kids.
Yep.
We meet. So we got basically their relation. They would be. Are they? Yeah. I got cousins or brothers. I guess they would be half brothers of Rhaenyra.
Yes. Half brothers. The Targaryens are half brothers, and so then they would be aunts and uncles. They would be uncles.
Okay.
So they'd be uncles,
nephews.
Right?
Yeah. I guess
half nephews. I think.
Yeah. Well, not he's just nephew, but
nephew. Okay. I think that's it.
Yeah. So you got the Targaryen boys. You know what I mean? You got
and the Valerian boys.
Aegon and Aemond.
Ugly motherfucker 1 and ugly motherfucker 2. I mean, could these kids be any more disgusting? You talk about white people. I mean, come on. I know I'm an attractive white person, but this shit is one of the what is going. These are the two most albino. Listen, we have an albino squirrel in our neighborhood, and it's all white, and I think it's like my guardian angel, and that thing's cuter than these damn kids. I don't know about this. Is the most. This is the weirdest thing. And then what he does, we'll get to in a minute. But and then we have Rhaenyra's fucking adorable boys. Jacaerys and Lucerys.
Jacaerys. Is it Jacaerys and Luke?
Got it. Yeah,
is it Lucas or just Luke?
I think it's spelled out here, Lucerys. So
so Lucerys or
Lucerys,
yeah. Okay. So
and then the baby who was born, they named him Joffrey.
Oh my god, yeah. And Laenor, come on, bro. Like you ain't even all right. If you was shooting, if you was shooting in there, then okay, you can get your boo thing your ex boo thing could get a baby name, but
it's crazy.
You're not even shooting.
Yeah. Right.
You're not even shooting, bro.
Right.
So like you don't get no names. You don't get the name nothing.
Right.
And that was like a point of contention too.
Yeah.
So we see these kids and they're in the dragon pit.
Right.
And we're seeing, and that's the first time we really seen that. Like kids interacting with dragons and learning that, whatever. And then we learn that young Aemond doesn't have a dragon.
Nope, not yet.
He doesn't have a dragon. Nope. You know what I mean? And did they say why? Is it just one of those things? He's
a late bloomer. One of Daemon's children, one of the girls, I believe Bella. I think she doesn't.
Is it Baela?
Baela, yeah. She doesn't have a dragon yet either, and that's kind of why we see this in this episode. Like Daemon kind of ignores her and is more favorable to the other one because she has a dragon and she doesn't. But they're just late bloomers. Aemond's dragon is. His is it's what?
I said a pig.
Oh,
a pig.
well, yeah, of course. Yeah. No, but I think we'll see him get his dragon, and it's one we've seen before in next episode.
Okay. So we see a little bit of family like hazing and things like that. You know what I mean? The boys are being boys. And what I mean? Yeah, go ahead.
No. So, and that's kind of important here. The tenacity and like the picking on and everything going on between the boys. That's all just them being kids. They don't hate each other yet, obviously.
No.
But like it's all just them kind of being like, hey, we're 13, let's fuck around and hit each other with sticks. So I think it's very interesting to see that dynamic between them now, and especially picking on, like, I honestly thought we were going to see this episode and all of the Valyrian kids were going to get picked on because they had brown hair and everyone knows what's going on, and because the Targaryen kids are blonde, I thought it was going to be a very different power shift. But it seems like they're all kind of right now, at least until next episode, playing on the same levels. So that I thought that was, I think that's interesting and important to point out.
So they're training the dragons, and that, again, that's the first time we kind of seen that. And then it's funny. Well, it's ironic. Like you see those people that kind of I don't even know what you would call them. The people that kind of are keeping the dragon keepers.
Yeah,
so
the keepers. They speak.
Like, have you noticed that they all have burns on their faces and stuff like that? Because I guess that's just like a part of.
Yeah.
Hey, sometimes you're gonna get burnt by some fire.
Yeah, you know I mean, look at a mechanic's hands. Like a mechanic doesn't have soft, gooey hands.
Yeah, and I thought it was interesting though, because like those people are the ones that are kind of like handling these dragons. Like, how do those dragons get to know those kids when they, I mean, they don't really have that. They don't really get too close. All they say is an order. I mean, they're not grooming those dragons. They're not bathing. I mean, they're not taking care of those dragons. So it's like,
I think it has to do with the High Valyrian. That's why they all speak it, because it's the only language that the dragons understand. And I'm assuming, based on, because you just said they all have burns and scratches, it's probably a tough job to get into, and then you just learn how to maneuver yourself around a fucking fire-breathing dragon and learn how not to get burnt. Like, that's your goal, so you're going to do everything in your power to do that. So I wish we could see I would watch a whole hour-long documentary on how they train their dragon. Like, you know what I mean? I don't know.
Yeah, how to train it.
I know that there are two ways for a Targaryen or Valyrian to bond with a dragon. We've seen it, obviously, in this episode and past. The egg in the crib is the most important. And then secondly, I learned that you can take someone else's dragon if they have died. So we will most likely see that based on the events after this episode, once we get there.
Okay, bet. So then we get the kings, and so then then we get in the scene where it's the king's denial.
This guy, listen to me. I mean, go.
Yeah, well, so it's funny because Alicent is she's just she's like a nagging wife, like you know what I mean, like she has this tough side, but then when she's still around Viserys, she still has to play the game,
right?
And she's just the nagging wife, like, honey, like, did you like, and she's blaming the Valyrian boys for whatever, and he knows though. He's like, are you sure like it wasn't our son like that,
right?
Put him up to all this, whatever. And she's one of those parents that's like, my kid does no wrong,
right?
You know what I mean? Even though her kid is probably a little asshole too, you know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? And but the denial, you know what I mean? Like, she's obviously trying to put it into his head that like, yo, it ain't no coincidence that these little Valyrian boys don't look like their dad. Like, what's going on? Like, and he's not trying to hear it.
She's been drilling this narrative into his head for the last 10 years. He's been losing limbs left and right, and every single time one falls off, she's like, hey, they're the strong boys. Hey, they're the strong boys. Oh, you just got done fucking me again, and now I'm having another one. Hey, they're the strong boy. And so it's been 10 years of this, and that's why you kind of see him put his foot down. And man, the dude just wants to build his statues, okay? He's got one hand left. He's declining in health, which he does get a little bit better, so we might see that in the next episode, but then obviously, things go south.
Well, yeah, I was going to say, it looked like a funeral for him, but so...
Well, but he's, I mean, look, he just wants to play with his trains and be peaceful in the kingdom. It's so cute to see the boys playing in the courtyard. And I mean, it just, it really is very interesting to see his just denial. And it's like, listen, if he hears one more fucking word about Rhaenyra's kids being strong boys, it's lights out for you. I'm done. He's done hearing about it.
Yeah. But the thing is, he ain't gonna do nothing now because we know him. That's his MO is to blow smoke, and he ain't really about no smoke. I mean, so continue with the kids, man. You know, we see Aegon the jerker. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, what the hell is wrong with this guy? He was just standing in his castle window and just like going to town on himself. I'm like, what kind of scene is this? Like, what are we doing? But it just speaks to the character. It just speaks to the adolescence. It speaks to the youth, whatever, where, bro, he just trying to get his rocks. He just, he going through puberty. He finding himself, whatever. But his mom comes in and is like, what the fuck are you on, bro? Like, you know what I mean? And she's drilling this succession talk in his head.
Right. Grabbing
and he's
his
like,
face.
and he made a comment where he's like, well, maybe I won't rule. And she's like, motherfucker, I ain't trying to hear none of that.
Yeah, like, cool. Oh, you mean my cousin will be king? Cool. I like be his friend.
He can be king. I don't care. Like, that's cool. Let nephew be king. Give it to her. She's like, bitch, what the fuck is you? Bitch, what the fuck is you talking about? Like, we're not on that time. Like, you know what
that's
I mean?
my
like,
family. Yeah.
You know what I mean? So we obviously get the, you know, and I guess that's gonna be a recurring theme where people are gonna be in his head. Kind of like, you know, playing a puppet master to him. You know what I mean? And then you just, you know, it just sucks because it's like, you know, and you think about it in human, you know, just us, like, how often do we inherit our parents' problems and and their beefs and their feuds and stuff like that? Especially with when you think about kids, man, all that stuff is learned, man. Like, they don't.
Right.
I mean, he just wants to have fun. It looks like, you know what I mean?
Right.
And it's like, but like, this is serious times, and ain't got time for games, man. So
yeah. This episode is brought to you by Entertainment Earth. Listen, they've got everything Game of Thrones, and hot off the truck, they've got House of the Dragon stuff too, okay? We're talking Funko Pops. We're talking dragon statues. We're talking castle models. We're talking, dude, I mean, everything and anything. So all you have to do is head to Entertainment Earth. It's ee.toys, not .com. We're in 2025, people. It's ee.toys/recap, RECAP, ee.toys/recap. And what you're going to do is you're going to be shopping with 10% off, okay? And if you forget and you just Google Entertainment Earth, you're going to use that promo code RECAP at checkout. 10% off, free shipping over orders that are $39 or more. Listen, man, I've got all of the House of the Dragon Funko Pops in the cart. I'm gonna use promo code. Oh yeah, I think I might be getting all of them. It's a bit of an issue here, but if we're gonna keep them as a sponsor and keep this bad boy rolling, you're gonna need to go to ee.toys/recap to afford, so we can afford this Funko addiction. Maybe I'll get Los a dragon or something for his son. But listen, Entertainment Earth is where you need to go. For 25 years, Entertainment Earth has been the premier online destination for the latest and greatest toys, the most exciting action figures, and the coolest gifts and collectibles and pop culture has to offer. From television, movies, sports, celebrities, comics, internet memes, and every fandom in between, they drop new products daily and curate their selection so you don't miss out. Whether you're looking for something stellar from a galaxy far, far away with Star Wars, or from the streets of Gotham City and DC Comics, or everything Game of Thrones and House of the Dragon, they've got your back. Promo code RECAP at checkout. It's 10% off. The link's in the description down below. Back to the show. Thanks, guys. No, I think you're absolutely right. And we see that with him, the young boy in the courtyard when he's eyeballing the servants walking by. And I think it's presumed in the books too. And I get with that scene, they kind of lured to it. He's at the point now where like he's pulling random girls off the street and like he's starting to, be he's a young Daemon, right? He's the young Daemon of the town. He's 15, 16 years old, however old he is. And he's, obviously he's doing what he's doing. Why not? He's in his little clubhouse and, why not jerk off over the town?
Right over King's Landing.
Over it, man. And so, and that's kind of just, and that's a recurring pattern in this episode, because we see we get all the kids, we get the character changes, everyone's growing up 10 years later, and we're seeing this dynamic between the Strongs and the father and his children, and the king with Rhaenyra, and Alicent, and now Aegon, and then moving on, then we have Daemon, who we discover is a family man now, twins with his now wife, Laena Valerian.
Yes. So I mean, Daemon, the family man. This guy, like, he is just, it's like he's on a lifelong vacation. That's what it looks like.
Hey, man.
He's in Essos.
Yep.
Oh, I was like, he's in Essos. It seems like he's just the guest of honor wherever he goes. Like, he's just basically, they have no home. Like, they just stay in hotels, so to speak. They stay in suites and villas, like, and everybody wants them to be the guest. And he gets an offer. He gets an offer from somebody from he was from Pentos.
Yep.
Yeah, and basically, he just kind of gives them an offer like, yo, man, like, we need your help, because now it's kind of interesting, because then they get into another plot point, which I wonder if it's gonna, maybe surface later on. But we hear about Dorne. We hear about the island of Dorne
for the first time,
and how they're helping the Triarchy. And the Triarchy is, remember, the Stepstones, that's all that, whatever.
Yep.
And they need some dragons, they need some assistance, whatever. And in place of that, it's like, yo, bro, we'll make you the richest man in the world. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And he's kind of entertaining it, but his wife is not feeling it. She's pregnant, you know what I mean, with their, how many kids they got? They got a bunch of kids.
I think just they have the twins, and the one that she attempts to give birth to in this episode, I believe, would have been their third.
I'm
pretty sure.
Okay. I mean, all girls? Would have been all girls?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. So, and we get a sense of, this is the first time that we don't see an aggressive Daemon. I mean, this is the most docile Daemon we've ever seen.
And that was going to be one of my points, because I feel like I owe this man an apology. I tweeted out Sunday morning that,
the crimes.
We were here for any Daemon crimes in episode 6, and that we would back him no matter what he did. And my man came through with just a perfect listen, he's married.
He was so innocent.
He's married now. He spends his days in the library reading about old Valyria and the dragon riders and where he comes from, and he's just trying to retire on the beach with his girls and his dragons and live in peace, and he's not committing any crimes.
Nope.
I mean, what are we doing?
He's just chilling, whatever. But then we see, though, how when you're in power, or you grow up in some sort of power, how, like, yo, everybody, like, ain't trying to live that kind of peaceful life. Like, and you could see for the first time, like, their marriages have been their marriage must have been unraveling for years.
Right. Well, and I think theirs was obviously another political move as well.
Yeah, and even though there seemed to be some fire there, like at that wedding, whatever. But like, she's like, yo, like, you don't want to like basically build our legacy. You don't think about home. And he's like, nah, like, he, like, whatever happened, I mean, I guess losing Rhaenyra, kind of like, and officially losing her, that broke him. Like, that whole scene, like, that he, like, so it's interesting. Like, what the hell has he been doing these 10 years? Like, obviously we get a glimpse of it, but it's like, yo, like, what happened? You know what I'm saying? Because this is not the Daemon that we know.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, does he still got that fire? Yeah. I mean, and it kind of debunks my theory. I thought he couldn't make kids, and my man got a bunch of babies. Bunch of beautiful black girls.
Yeah, of course.
And them Valerian boys are supposed to be black. That's all. That's all I'll say. But
no, but I mean, yeah, man. I mean, it's very interesting to see that character shift. And now, so obviously after the events of this episode, we will start to see, as we can see in the trailer for next week, we'll talk about, but we can see him going back to, and will be a huge influence on Rhaenyra, and then we'll see their relationship start to blossom, I guess you could say.
Okay. So, and then there we go. And then we have a showdown of knights.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
We get Harwin versus Criston.
Everybody knows.
Yeah, everybody knows. You know what
Everybody
I mean?
knows who the
Everybody
babies
knows.
belong to.
Yep. And so Criston, I mean, whatever, he's on one. He makes it his mission to like basically push Harwin's buttons.
Right.
But Harwin made a point though. You know what I mean? Like he made a good point because I guess Criston is in charge of training all the boys, like all four of the boys to fight and things like that. And he's really not giving the young Valerian boys any run. Like he's not really focused on them, whatever.
No,
like
he doesn't give a shit.
He has no interest. He has nothing vested in them.
Nope.
Even though it is supposed to be one house. You know what I mean? He's just worried about, you know what I mean, his young boys, whatever. I mean the Targaryen boys.
Yep.
And Harwin kind of steps in, like he don't like it because you got the uncle kind of bullying his nephew, whatever, and the Jace held his own for the most part, you know what I mean, until some tactics that he ain't like, and Harwin steps in. Criston steps in and is like, yo, only somebody that is a father. Basically, he says a couple things, but basically, I mean, you only gonna be worried about a kid if that's your son. Like, I mean, like, why are you so invested?
Right.
And that set Harwin off, but that was what Criston wanted.
Right.
That's exactly what he wanted. Because I guess if you hit a knight, you know what I mean, you get in trouble. Like you know what I mean? Even and I'm thinking like, these is grown men. Like, why can't grown men just duke it out?
Well, and it's very interesting, that knights have the rules, but like some random lord from another town can beat the shit out of Daemon, the Prince of King's Landing, like the prince almost heir to the Iron Throne and jousting, and no one steps in to stop him. But when Harwin and Cole are in the courtyard beating the shit out of each other, it's fine. But when Cole's beating the future king's lover to death in a wedding, then it's fine. We can let that one go too. Yep. But when it's these guys in the courtyard, then it's an issue and we got to pull them off each other. The dynamic is very interesting there. But yeah, I mean, thank God. Like, he should have kept going. He should have.
Yeah, he should have. Yeah, like I wanted him to do what he did to Joffrey. What
right.
Did to Joffrey. I thought we was going to get some of that.
That would have been fantastic. But his Criston's story's not done yet, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, and then that's when we learn the true, like who Harwin is. We learn he obviously he's a strong, and his dad Lyonel, the hand of the king, is like, yo, fam, like you exposing
calm
us,
down,
like,
right?
Calm down,
right.
You know what I mean, and you're making it hot out here for us, you know? And so basically, he kind of takes his punishment, and I guess they got to go to Harrenhal, like and I kind of skipping ahead, but like, Lyonel wants to kind of resign because he just feels like, all right, man, I'm getting too, like, I know more than I'm supposed to know.
Right.
Like, I mean, these
and he
little
can't
boys
tell the king.
Is my grandsons.
Yeah,
these are really my grandsons, you know what I'm saying? But
right.
I mean, I can't be an objective hand anymore. And he tries to back out, but like, King Viserys is like, nah.
You can't bounce. Where you going? Right.
Yeah, you can't. Yeah. So, I guess I have a couple little things there. You know what I mean? We do get Laenor. Laenor is just out here like
living his best life.
He's really living his best life. And we see that like really, Rhaenyra has allowed him to just
do whatever
kind
of
philander and just do whatever he wanted.
Right.
I mean, and it's just like, bro, like
we see his new boyfriend.
See the new boyfriend.
Yeah.
And we do see like a side of Laenor where like, I mean, he obviously he's incomplete. Like he's still hurting too. Probably in the last 10 years, he's still hurting from his loss. But also too, he's a pawn. He realizes that he don't have he has no stake to the claim, like to the throne. Like he's waiting on his wife to eventually be.
And he's bored. And he's bored. He's bored in the house, and he's in the house bored. And he can't. And he's like. And then he finally gets news that some shit's going down the Stepstones again. And he's like, "Oh fuck yeah! I can't wait. I can't wait to breathe some smoke fire and fucking destroy some shit, get a hard on, and bang my boyfriend. Like that's all he wants to do." And the fact that he's got to walk Rhaenyra through the castle and be a dad and represent himself as whoever he is really starting to piss him off. And there's consequences to his actions, and I think we'll see some of those unfold in the next few episodes. But you know what I mean? He's not contributing, and we kind of know what happens to people in Game of Thrones that don't contribute. So it's like either play the game or you strike three, you're out. So we'll see.
Yep, yep.
We'll see.
And kind of jumping, moving ahead. I call it the Dance of the Dragon. So we kind of see in they're in court basically, and it looks like they're kind of talking they're kind of talking about the conflict
Right.
and that's kind of arising.
Right.
And obviously it's like war tactics. But for the first time, we actually are seeing two women now in court
right
having a voice.
Right.
Like it looks like Alicent is in charge of what goes on in that court, because Viserys is just like, he's just
no,
old.
he doesn't give a shit. Right.
Yeah, and it looks like Rhaenyra has a little bit of power,
Mm-hmm.
but like she obviously doesn't have too much, whatever. So,
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead, go.
Well, so Rhaenyra in this moment, Rhaenyra is her power is all borrowed. She's just taking loans out against her future power, as she's still the heir to the throne. So if her dad goes tomorrow, it's hers. So she's kind of, I think she's just withdrawing money out of that bank account until it runs out and her dad dies. So and I think what we're trying to do here is nip it in the butt. Like, that's why we see these two, trying to come up with this proposal, and then we get it. And it's like, okay, well, what if my young son marries your young daughter, and then boom, we're both like, now we're equal. We can squash the beef right now. No one else has to worry about it. And like Viserys' eyes light up. Viserys is like, holy fucking shit, this is it. It's a dream come true. We're getting everything else.
Yes,
and
we're gonna finally get an intermarriage that's gonna work.
Boom,
and it's gonna like solidify everything.
Boom. Rhaenyra's on board, and Alicent's like, nah.
We'll think about it.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, we'll think about it. We'll think about it.
Right.
Yeah. So yeah, that was like, and obviously that was like a last ditch effort too, like by Rhaenyra, like you said, like she has this borrowed power or whatever. And you know what? It was interesting too, like just seeing two women in court like that, and even the way, like the way that Rhaenyra even brought that up and tried to like, hey, bygones be got bygones.
Right.
I mean, like men don't do that.
Right.
Men in the like they don't apologize to each other,
and we
like,
see
like,
that.
And I mean,
Corlys isn't in the freaking King's Hand anymore, and like it's just yeah.
So that was an interesting dynamic too, because even though like for us, like I mean, modern day, we might look like, oh, that's the right thing to do, whatever. That was weakness. You know what I mean? Like her making that proposal, even though it was like trying to like combine them, that was kind of like, it was like, to me, I think that's how it kind of looked, whatever, even though she thought like she was doing the big thing, like being a bigger person. This ain't no world to be the bigger person. You know what I'm saying? Like you gotta be cutthroat at all times, or people gonna, the sharks are gonna sniff the blood in the water.
And that's the dynamic that we kind of have to see here, and we kind of have to figure out who's the stronger person for that, because we see all of these different, like I said before, parenting dynamics, and we see how Alicent is treating Aegon, like grabbing his face, you need to shut the fuck up, and you need to worry about what's happening next. And then we see Rhaenyra and her parenting skills, where when her son's asking the heavy hitting questions, yo, is that dude my father? And she says, well, you're a Targaryen, so that's kind of cool. You know what I mean? You got a dragon, right? So let's just not even worry about it. Like she's protecting them, and Alicent is scaring her children. So it's very, very interesting to see the offense and defense being played on both sides. And that's just where the greens and the blacks are going to come together and collide.
Right. So then after the failed attempt to resign, right, we end up seeing a scene with our next villain. Like he's the show's new villain.
Right.
And we seen him in the wedding. We call him Clubfoot, right?
Yep.
Little Clubfoot, or little, you know what I mean? But Larry Strong, you know what I mean? And he is, he's going and he's basically, he obviously has the queen's ear, you know what I mean? And I seen a good little graphic. It was like he was like Littlefinger, Varys, Larys. You know what I mean? I'm like, oh, like, do you think that was intentional or not? I guess the books were already kind of
sure, maybe. I mean, who knows? Yeah, maybe that was his thought when writing them. But I mean, that was like, that he's like, And you saw the scene, he's been sitting there eating pie and crimpets with Alicent every night for the last 10 years. Like, well, maybe you should do this. Maybe it's Harwin's kids. You think that? What do you think, huh? And they probably had a podcast. They probably had it's probably like number one on the charts, like Lyonel and freaking Alicent. I mean, why not? I can only imagine that they, that's been his plan the whole time.
And they go, and I just don't know. I don't understand his motivations with this yet. I mean, I guess it's going to play out, but his father and his brother, Ser Harwin, they go to Harrenhal. I guess they are the lords of Harrenhal.
Yep.
Or because Harrenhal is, I always hear about it being this cursed place.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
And
he even gives the lore a little bit about the guy's blood is in the mortar and it's cursed and this and that, whatever. And
so
a lot of bad things happen at Harrenhal.
Yeah, Harrenhal was destroyed by, I believe, Aegon the Conqueror when he was riding the big black Balerian dragon, the biggest one.
Yeah.
He, for whatever reason, went and just destroyed most of it with his fire dragon. And so, and then after that, once it was kind of cleaned up a little bit and okay to live in again, since then, every lord or ruler just died of a mysterious death. We see that in Game of Thrones. We see it here. And so it's just this weird, haunted place. But yeah, man.
Yeah. So Larys, is he the jailer? Is he like the city jailer? What? How does he have access to these prisoners? What the heck is that about?
Yeah, I'd imagine because of who he is, he probably now has a status symbol around the town when it comes to who he is and the queen. I'm sure people know about his relationship with the queen in some form or fashion. And so if he just flashes that badge, I'm with the queen, she wants these prisoners and all their tongues cut out, I think he could probably make that happen. Obviously he can. And so he just has that clearance, I guess, VIP access to tongues of prisoners.
Yeah, and he releases these 3 prisoners, and basically he kind of commissions them to kill his father and his brother, whatever, and in a fire of all ways to die, fire. And it's like, but bro, that's the seat of your, now I guess you're the head of that house, whatever, but bro, your brother and your dad, and basically it feels like you're doing this for Hightower,
right?
Otto Hightower, in some way, shape, or form. So it's I don't know. I'm not really into, familicide and, patricide and stuff like that. What are you doing, bro? And but we see, and then we see Alicent is all of a sudden she's but I didn't want you to do that. I didn't want you to do that. So what was that about? Her showing her was she trying to be innocent at the end?
Yeah, she's finally learning, and she's going to continue learning, which we'll get to in episode 7 previews. But she's learning now the game that needs to be played. I think all of the last 10 years with her has been hearsay, just rumors, talking, discussing over coffee, tea, and pie. And now we're going to actually see her start taking actions setting them on fire actually was a good thing because now this isn't happening. Yes, and we'll see how that then obviously translates into next week's episode. So
yes. And one of the last things, major things that happened, obviously with going back to Daemon and his wife, Laena,
yeah, man.
She, like I said, it's the childbirth. Yeah, that's what it was. It was the childbirth scene, and it's crazy because Daemon, as much as he mocked his own brother, for what he had to go through and the decision that he had to make, he was faced with the same exact decision, the same one. It's we either try to save the baby,
right,
or they both die. You know what I'm saying? And so she knows what's going on, whatever. Right. And she skates at
Homie just bounces, right? She's like, all right, I'm done pushing, I'm done with this shit, I'm going to my dragon's bed, and I'm sleeping. That's it. you know?
Yeah. And then she goes out there, and I ain't gonna lie, and this is something too I talked about with somebody, I thought when she goes and she goes into her dragon, Vhagar.
Yes, Vhagar, yes.
Vhagar, right? So I'm thinking like, well, you know what I mean? What I remember with Daenerys, right? Like, you know, Targaryens don't burn. You know what I'm saying? Like you know what I mean? Like they
Valerians
don't
do, I
burn.
guess.
But I guess I guess Valerians do. I
Right.
guess you got to be Targaryen,
Yep. Yeah.
to be impenetrable. But like
Interesting.
she's just basic. Yeah, she's just basically like, yo, like put me out my misery. And
Right.
then the dragon is looking at her like, sis, come on.
Yeah.
Like
So here's some
I
fun
can't do
facts.
that.
Fun facts about
Yeah,
her
go ahead.
dragon. Her dragon, because Baegon is dead, obviously under the castle. We see that. Her dragon is the second biggest. So now the current largest living.
That dragon is huge.
And it's female.
Huge.
So the
Okay.
fact that she's female, I think, was another reason why the dragon decided to do what it needed to do. Because we talked in episodes before, they just have that mental, physical, like psychic connection with their dragons, and that's why, like, the dragon was hesitant. Like, what do you mean? I'm not gonna fucking set you on fire, bitch.
Man, I'm not gonna
and then
Jacaerys you, like
the pain and obviously the connection there was like, do it, please. And the Daemon on the beach. Oh my god, oh my god, I can't.
And but the thing is, like, I mean, I guess her fate was sealed.
Right,
her fate was sealed. She was gonna die either way. So yeah, because at first I felt like, damn man, like he could have did something. Then I thought like, no, he really couldn't have done anything.
Yeah.
Like her fate was sealed. And she kind of made the bet, like she died. She wanted to drive.
Yep,
she said it.
She wanted the dragon rider's death. Yes.
Yeah, I want to die dragon rider's death. I mean, she don't want to sit in no castle fat and boring. You know what I mean? Like, nah, it's adventure. Like, and then, you know, she met her demise. He runs out, sees her. The dragon burned her, and she's no more, man. But I thought maybe there's a chance that like she would survive and like it would help the baby come out and like, you know what I mean, like some Daenerys shit, like, you know what I'm saying?
But, you thought maybe her something like the fight like
would help the breach or something, and then like, you know, maybe. I don't know.
Okay,
I had hope.
You thought
okay, it was extinguished.
Interesting. You thought it was helping and not just ending her. Okay, wow.
Yeah.
I didn't even think about
like
that.
Well, I thought there was a chance there, maybe,
right. Well, now we just know that Valerian children cannot, or Valerians cannot. They have to have Targaryen blood. Interesting to see. I wonder if that's the case for Rey. I wonder if for
I know
Luke and Jacaerys.
How's that happen? Yeah, I know. And then you know you
like
you alluded to some stuff before, but yeah, what happened? So
interesting. So man, let's. Did you watch the preview for episode 7?
Yes, I did.
Okay. I mean, I've got a full trailer breakdown ready for you to go. I mean,
go ahead.
Things are spicing up, right? So we see in the trailer, we started out with Laena's funeral. We can see from the casket and it being dumped into the ocean. It's definitely her body. They don't show Daemon and the girls there. They show an outward shot that they might be over there, but from like the looks of it, we just see Rey, her 2 kids, and Alicent and her 2 kids, the king and Laenor.
See, I didn't even notice the king in that scene because at first because I just figured like, all right, she's just dead.
Yeah.
I thought at first maybe it was Corlys because right after that you see Rhaenys take off her rings. Did you see that in the trailer?
No, I don't think so. I might have missed that.
Yeah, bro. Corlys's wife. She's like taking off her rings or something, and they're on the table.
They were talking to each other. Yeah. And that's when they were talking about legacy.
Like in a cut scene, like 5 seconds later, then you see Corlys. So I'm like, okay, it wasn't Corlys.
Okay, maybe I'm not sure what that means or what that alluded to.
So keep with the breakdown.
But then we see some fights break out. We see some violence, and we hear the words of high treason, and so this is presumably, and this is just a prediction from me. But I believe we know from the source material. I believe Aemond Targaryen loses an eye. One of the Targaryen brothers, I think it's Aemond. I think he loses an eye, and I think we might see that in next episode. I think because we see one of the Valerian boys. He's bloodied up in Daemon's arms next to Rhaenyra, and then we get Alicent saying, you know, that there needs to be an eye for an eye. Like, we need payback. Punishment should be equal. Yeah. And it's the the Valyrian boy cuts out the Targaryen boy's eyes. I'm not sure which one it is, but it's just one eye. And I think that's when we see Alicent pull the king's dagger out and almost stab Rhaenyra. And we get the tear down her face saying, now they see you for who you are.
Yeah, so okay, because I did not. I was like, who? Yeah, cause I seen the dagger, but I'm like, who's about to stab Rhaenyra? Like,
so
what the heck? Like,
next week we see a conflict between the boys. I'm not sure if he'll lose an eye next week or not. And then obviously we see that conflict fold over, and just even more. We've seen it in this episode when they were training. The young boys are wearing green, the other boys are wearing red and black. And so we see that shot of them in the trailer with Daemon, Rhaenyra, the boys, Corlys, and all of their people, and they're all in black. And we're still just, this is what's gonna kick this shit off. And we're just getting closer and closer to the dance, because now we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, soon to be 7 new kids, plus one more on the way. The girl's getting a dragon soon. So we've got like 8 or 12 kids flying dragons around. We've got 8 or 12 kings and queens who've got them, prince and princesses who've got them. I mean, we're in for like the dance of the dragon. And that trailer also gives us, bro, homeboy's back. Daddy's back, baby. Okay, we see the close-up shot. We see him in the trailer. Otto Hightower's the king of the hand, baby.
Yes.
Otto Hightower got his.
About to be the hand. He's about to be
Viserys.
the king's hand again.
Yeah, Viserys is still in this episode. He's still alive next week. So
why can't he get somebody else? Like, don't he get the pick? Like,
because
he picked this guy
Alicent is in his. It's Alicent, dude. Alicent's pulling all the strings now. Alicent, the king is dying. She's given him his sons. He's as happy as he can be. He's just building his little castle, and whatever Alicent wants, she gets it. And so it's daddy comes home. And we see, because obviously the king of the hand is dead now. He burned away. And now he needs a new one. And who better to fill that role than your old trusty friend Hightower? Because listen, you know, like Lair said, your dad Otto is probably going to give you half-baked info anyways. But she said, hey, it's my dad though. And so he's coming back. We see him with the pin on the cloak in episode 7. Yep. So man, I'm excited. More violence, more tension, and just more building. And this will be episode 7, and then we have 2, 8, 9, 10, 3 more after that. 10, right? Yeah, 10 total. Yeah. So I mean, it's getting crazy.
Game of Thrones turns up they're good. They're good for a big penultimate episode. Like they're known for a good penultimate. Right. And then like usually the final episode is like usually like a resolution. Like it's like the die down, like the aftermath.
Usually,
battle.
Usually. I still don't know, man. I feel like maybe they might leave us hanging in the middle or first parts of the war, the Civil War, the Dance of the Dragons. And then we might have to wait for season 2 for like the conclusion. I don't know.
Yeah, I think I don't know, but my money is on the Valyrian Targaryen, like that faction, like Corlys and all them, and all, you know, like they just have. It seems like they just got more firepower than. I mean, you got the 2 little boys. You got old ass Viserys, which he's kind of neutral, but he's gonna go with his wife. And then unless Otto's been going to work with all these other houses that we haven't seen in a while.
Right. What's Otto been doing? Right. What's Otto been doing for the last 10 years? And now that he's coming back as Hand of the King, who's he bringing with him 10 years? Oh, that's a good. Because
obviously he has Strong, but Strong, you got rid of your brother who probably
Strong,
would trash
you can't trust. Right. You can't trust Strong.
And you can't trust him.
Right. He killed his dad and his brother. So like, who else? He'd kill you in a minute.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I don't know, man. And like, what is his? I just want to know his motivations. Like, because. Just like with Lord Baelish, when you're watching it the first time, you're like, what is his motivations? And you don't know. But then you start putting the pieces together. So like, I'm predicting there's some weird backstory with this guy that like, maybe I don't know, maybe he's a scorned lover or something. Like, I don't know. Like, I don't know. Maybe he felt like he was supposed to, I wonder. Cause like who the hell are you, bro? Like, who are you to just, be pulling all these strings? But
he's just one of those people who got in at the right time.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's crazy.
But man. I mean, that's it for me, man. Any closing thoughts? Anything else you can think of? I mean, this episode again, wild. I think we'll see now that his wife is dead. I think we will see badass Daemon back next week because What does he have to lose? You know, he's now just going to be fully focused probably on Rhaenyra and doing whatever he can to just cement that in. So we'll see, man. We'll see.
All right, man. Yeah. That's it for me. I think I'm excited to see I wonder how much of a jump are we going to get the next episode? Because now I'm just getting used to these time jumps.
It seemed like the kids they looked the same and around the same age. So maybe, if anything, a year. The king is still relevant and standing. We see him with a cane in one of the shots for episode 7. So, I mean, he's still there. So it can't be another huge jump. Obviously, but so I think probably like a year or 2, maybe 3. We'll get context clues, I'm sure, to, you know, and well, we're opening up with Laena's funeral, so it had to have been recently. I mean, unless they wait for whatever reason a year or 2 to have a funeral for someone, but I'm sure that was probably prevalent at the time.
Okay.
So
yeah, definitely. Yeah.
So maybe a month or 2, but I don't think it's anything huge. So
no. Yep. So that's it, man. That's it for me. Just tuned in and you know, like I said, excited, man. Like I said, this was a good one because of like all the characters. You actually see some family dynamics. And it was exposing. It was eye opening,
right?
To just see all this, like I said, those inherited beefs, man, like
and the dynamics, and the dynamics between everyone else. Well, guys, listen, until next week, this has been episode 6 of the Recap and Record podcast. Like Lo said at the top, check us out on Instagram, Snapchat, YouTube channel, like and subscribe every single one of those videos. And we'll catch you guys next week. Check it out. Peace.